Tom Neal, Neal, District 4, Alderperson.
And can I have you hold it just a little higher?
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I'm looking at you.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're good.
All right, so first kind of describe this first meeting of the subcommittee for us.
Well, there's a number of people, citizens, 5 citizens and 2 from council. And some of the group have been actively involved in this topic for years now. So it wasn't like a complete, start from, one for them. Others, this was their first really involvement. So this was a, get to know and talk about, the big picture. Talk about how we might utilize our personal resources and skills to move this thing along, and what our options might be. So I think it's a good start. It's a good group.
So this is the first time the public is getting to meet this committee. Also the first time the committee is really getting to meet each other. What will their responsibilities be going forward?
Well, different people on the committee, and we have to find this out going forward, are going to have different skills, contacts within the city, things they can bring to the table. It's great if this committee member, for instance, knows somebody who can help the project along, maybe somebody in an industry or something, a material supplier. Well, we don't know that yet, So a lot of times it comes down to, who do you know? What can you do to help bring this along? Then we, identify those resources, organize, our steps moving forward, how we're going to utilize those resources to get the job done. An important thing we talked about tonight was, do we take a phased approach versus, do the whole big thing approach? So we're going to look at both of those. It might be that we can do this whole thing in one fell swoop. It might be that we have to chop it into a couple years.
And I know another topic of discussion was kind of different locations, because right now the location that's kind of been chosen is here near downtown, behind the post office. Right. Are you guys completely set on that location, or are there other options maybe available?
Well, I don't want to say completely set, but there's been a process that has led us to this point. We've looked at a lot of different locations before around the city, and we've run into reasons why they were less than ideal, related to the physical identity of that location might have been problematic. Parking, accessibility, that sort of thing. This place was actually recommended by the parks staff because they felt it really met so many of the needs that we had outlined for a park. So it's a strong candidate. I don't know what might be competing against it at this point, but we're open-minded.
So going forward, what is the next step for this committee? You guys were kind of talking about, you guys will exchange some stuff over email. What's the next plan for you guys?
We're going to put together our next agenda. Is going to be our next step, really, and that's going to be, through a process of communicating with members of the committee, what they, think after tonight's meeting, what they think they might like to do, who they might want to talk to, a resource they have in mind, that sort of thing, so we can identify and then build an agenda to come together again to, see how where are we at. Okay, so it's really, this was like a thought-generating meeting, and our next meeting now is going to be what did that generate, and how are we going to package our activity going forward. This is still, pretty early.
I don't have anything else.
So what is the proposed date for the dog park to be finished, or what's the goal?
Well, our goal, was to have something happen in 2018, and of course it couldn't happen. Then we thought, okay, let's make it happen in 2019. But from the city standpoint, in the budgetary process, that couldn't happen. Now, could we do something in 2019 with private sector money? I believe we can, because the site is pretty much ready, to do at least the basic infrastructure to have, let's say, a phase 1 park put together this year. So that's not out of the question. 2020 then is a very reasonable target date for a completed park, maybe with all the amenities included.